evening. You're watching the news on African Free Press Television. My name is Leo Oketa.
And I am Bridget Okudili.
These are the stories we're tracking for you at this moment. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, on Thursday said it has reduced the $5.2 billion fine imposed on MTN Group Limited in October by $1.8 billion. NCC informed MTN on November the 2nd that it had reduced the fine to $3.4 billion payable by December 31st. In October, the NCC fined MTN's Nigerian unit roughly a quarter of the country's federal budget for allegedly missing a deadline to deactivate 5.1 million unregistered SIM cards under regulations meant to combat terrorism. MTN, which is Africa's largest telecommunications company with 233 million subscribers in 22 countries, said it is carefully considering the NCC's reply, but added that executive chairman will immediately and urgently re-engage with the Nigerian authorities before responding formally to ensure the best possible outcome for the company. MTN advised shareholders to continue to exercise caution when dealing with the company's securities.
The Supreme Court has fixed February 5, 2016 to determine the appeal seeking to quash charges against the Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki. This is coming after the federal government leveled a 13-count criminal charge against the former Kwara State governor before the Code of Conduct Tribunal was over alleged false declaration of assets. The Apex Court adjourned to deliver judgment on the appeal after it entertained arguments from both Dr. Saraki and the federal government on Thursday. The Senate President is facing trial over allegations that he falsely declared his assets contrary to the constitutional requirement. He was accused of deliberately manipulating the assets declaration form that he filled prior to his assumption of office as the Senate President by making anticipatory declaration of assets as well as operated foreign bank account while in office as a public servant.
Meanwhile, the Department of State Services, DSS, has moved former National Security Advisor retired Colonel Sambo Dasuki to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The operatives of the ESS picked up Dasuki on Tuesday after laying siege to his residence for about a month and restricted his movements. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja will sit today on the motion filed by the federal government seeking to revoke Dasuki's bail. At the last resumed hearing of the suit, lawyer to the federal government, Mr. Mohammed Diri, told the court that a notice of appeal had been lodged at the Court of Appeal challenging the judgment of the court granting bail to the former NSA boss. Dasuki, who had pleaded not guilty to previous charges of alleged illegal possession of firearms and money laundering preferred against him by DSS, had earlier granted bail by a federal high court to enable him seek medical attention. He was arrested by DSS on his alleged involvement in the $2 billion armed deal procurement in former President Goodluck Jonathan's administration.
Ahead of Saturday's governorship election, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has again restated its claim of an alleged plot between the All Progressive Congress, APC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and security forces to rig the election in favor of the candidate of the ruling party, Simpre Sylvia. Addressing newsmen at the end of the party's National Working Committee in Abuja, National Publicity Scribe of the main opposition party, Olise Metu, claimed that the October 31st Borno senatorial election and penultimate Saturday Kogi inconclusive elections were rigged by the APC and called on the PDP faithful in Bayelsa to resist rigging by all means necessary.
And the former Nigerian Minister for Petroleum, Mrs. Diziani Alison Madueke, has reiterated that she was fully committed to a cause of empowering indigenous oil and gas companies in Nigeria while she was in office. She made this known in an interview with the CEO of Ovation magazine in London, Mr. Dele Momodu. She noted that as the chairman of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, she did her job to the best of her ability and intention. She pointed out that the former President Goodluck Jonathan and herself were determined to empower Nigerians, especially the young ones.
Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius has been found guilty of murder after a South African appeals court overturned an earlier manslaughter verdict. Pistorius killed his girlfriend Rivers Steenkamp in February 2013 after shooting 4 times through a locked toilet door. He is currently under house arrest after spending 1 year of his original 5-year sentence in jail. Pistorius would have to return to court to be resentenced for murder.
And still on the foreign scene, at least 14 people were killed and 2 suspects were dead on Wednesday after 2 people on a mission that authorities described as possible terrorism barged into a holiday party in a California conference room and unleashed a bloodbath. The shooters fled in a black SUV after the rampage at about 11 a.m. inside the Inland Regional Center, a state-run center for people with developmental disabilities in San Bernardino, about 55 miles east of downtown Los Angeles, the police said. 17 others were wounded. Authorities said that no motive had been determined and that terrorism had not been ruled out as well.
According to a FIFA report, more than a dozen people were reportedly arrested on Thursday in Switzerland in connection with corruption allegations at football's international governing body. The report also revealed that some of the pre-dawn arrests were made at the same hotel where other FIFA officials were arrested in May. The raid was carried out by Swiss authorities in the context of a US-led investigation. The charges, expected to target South and Central American football leadership, would include money laundering and fraud, the report revealed. Sepp Blatter, the suspended boss, was not among those arrested, the report disclosed, quoting law enforcement officials. The raid followed a 2-day FIFA Executive Committee meeting in Zurich ahead of a February Congress to elect Blatter's successor.
And that's the news we're tracking for you at this moment on African Free Press Television. For more, please always log on to our website at www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press. Like our Facebook page at African Free Press. Join us in our discussions on various interesting topics at African Free Press Forum and subscribe to our YouTube channel at African Free Press. I am Leo Oketa.
And I am Bridget Okwuzili.
Thanks for watching. Good night.